Cheshire Cat Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to be doing the first part of my little mini Alice in Wonderland series. So for the first one it's going to be a natural nail design with the Cheshire Cat, and it's really sparkly and it's all pinks and purples, which are one of my favorite color combinations. I like pink, obviously, if you look at my channel name. So that is what today's video is, and so the rest of them are going to be three-dimensional and a little bit more on the extreme side, 4D and really big extravagant things. So I hope you like those, and I hope you like this one, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well.
So begin by painting all of your nails a medium to light pink. On the ring nail, which is the one that has the Cheshire Cat on it, I began with some black paint, and I'm just going to be adding the little outline of his face. So I started with like his little cheeks that are up and he's smiling, and then bring that line, or connect those lines down together with a big U to make his chin, and then add a little circle or oval and then connect that like that. So his mouth area is almost like a boomerang, and then I'm going to be adding his actual smile. So create those little smile lines and then add the outlines of where his teeth are, and then just a little split lip up there, and then I'm going to be adding his eyes with two circles. And right now my outlines are not perfect, obviously. If you look at those, they look a little crazy at the moment, but this is just kind of like sketching it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just getting an idea of where you want it so that when you start filling it in, you know your lines are in the right places. And then I'm going to be adding the outlines of his head and those little crazy hairs right by his ears, and then adding his ears. Adding the little lines like that. And so then I'm going to fill in around his mouth in his lip and chin area with a light pink. This is a very light, almost white pink. And it's funny when you look at images of the Cheshire Cat, the color combinations vary dramatically. Sometimes it looks like the area around his mouth is almost like a tan color. Sometimes it's light pink. Sometimes it's a medium pink. It really varies quite a bit. So go with the color scheme that you want to, and just know that it'll look good. And then also with that light pink, fill in the inner part of his ears. So then around his face and around his head, I'm going to be filling that in with a really bright fuchsia type color. So this is actually called bright purple, but it doesn't look very purple when it goes over the pink. So I'm just going to say that it's not so purple. And that's the same thing. Sometimes his face area and his body, the stripes look like they're burgundy. Sometimes it's purple. Sometimes it's dark pink. It just depends. And then his nose with the very bright pink. And then fill in his eyes with yellow. Just like that. Nice bright eyes and kind of glowy too. And then you're going to want to fill in where his teeth are with white. So like I said, at this point, some of my outlines got kind of diminished when I painted over the top of them. So that's okay again. Outlines are meant to be fixed and adjusted, at least in my eyes. So then just go through, and I added the lines for his teeth. One thing that I noticed is that he doesn't have, like, he's got a middle tooth. So you got to add lines to either side of center so that he's got a single tooth in the middle. That's how he always is, which I think is interesting. And then I also added some whiskers, nostrils, pupils, eyebrows, and touched up any other outlines. And then to fill in the background, I just took some more of that fuchsia colored paint, and I'm going to be adding stripes. And that color, because it is a neon type color, it doesn't have the pigmency or the pigmentation that you would normally see. And so the lines, the stripes are a little streaky, and I actually kind of like that. It makes it look sketchy to me, but that's a personal preference. If you want them to be nice, solid, opaque stripes, go through and add a second coat, because otherwise, at least with this particular paint that I'm using, it doesn't have that. And then on my index nail, I'm going to sponge across 3 to 4 shades of pinks and purples. So the first one I have is almost like a burgundy, and then a really bright pink. And then I'm also going to go through with a little bit of a purple too. So then, on top of that, I'm going to be, with white paint, writing "We're all mad here," which is one of my absolute favorite things to say. I say that all the time. I have a sister who is usually utterly embarrassed to be around me because I say goofy things, and I'm really not afraid to say what I think. And I don't know what we were talking about yesterday, but eventually she just kind of looks and she goes, "Man, you people are weird," talking about my parents and I. And so anyways, "We're all mad here" is something that I say because it just reminds me of her and how embarrassed she is to be related to me, because I'm far too strange for her. So I did this in 4 lines. So "We're all mad here" each has its own line. Now if this is small to paint on your nails, because it is quite a bit to fit, instead of doing the stripes on your middle nail, you could go through and so like "We're" on your index, and then "all" on the next nail, then "mad," and then here, you know, go back and forth, split this up on 2 nails. If that's easier for you, or you could do we're all on 1 nail and here, and or mad here on the other. Just split it up if that would be easier. But I fit it all, so I thought I'd just stick with 1. So then on my middle and pinky, with that same fuchsia colored paint I've been using all along, I'm going to go through and I'm going to be adding my little stripes going across. And so once again, I am not worried about these being perfect. I don't care that they're a little uneven and things like that. It kind of all adds personality to me. If you want them to be perfect, I would recommend using striping tape and then peel that off. So then after that's dried, I'm going to take and I mix some clear polish with a really pretty fuchsia type glitter. And then I went and I'm just going to spread that over the top of the stripes with a dotting tool. And the places where this did get all over the place, like there's that one really big place where it dropped down into the pink stripe, I'm just going to go through after all the glitter's on there and just sort of pry it off with a dotting tool. The pink polish underneath is very dry, so I know that I can kind of mess with the stripes a little bit on top of them without damaging that or pulling that. So as you can see now with that pointy end, I'm just going to go through and just kind of pull that in. That's really going to fix them up quite a bit and make them look a lot better. And then I just tapped my finger across it to sort of push any of that glitter into the top coat so that it's a lot smoother, because otherwise the glitter sticks up all over the place and it leaves the nail really rough. So then on my thumb, I started with a half circle, about where if you were to do a half moon, but just the outline of it with white, and then I'm going to paint a 6, a 3, and a 9, like the bottom half of a clock, and then add 2 little polka dots between the 3 and the 6, and the 6 and the 9 for the missing numbers, and then add 2 hands, and then go through and paint some stripes across the nail, but instead of doing them straight across like you did on the middle and pinky, this time make them curved, so they kind of follow that same curvature of the half circle. Just like that. And I did not put the glitter across the stripes on this nail. I left those the fuchsia color. You could put the glitter across those. I kind of liked them just being the way they are because then it matches the Cheshire Cat nail. And so I just left them like that. But you can switch it up for sure. And I did put, since I wasn't putting the glitter on top, I did add a second coat so that these stripes here would be a lot more solid. And so then I'm just going to touch up that white line because it got a little bit painted over and it disappeared. Some. That's just going to clean that line up a little bit. And then don't forget to add a layer of top coat. When you're top coating over the glitter, be generous about it so that it'll kind of smooth that out a little bit, because like I said, it is still just a little bit rough. I don't mind that it's bumpy, but the roughness I don't like so much. And that is it. So I hope you like this design, and don't forget to share recreations with me on Facebook and Instagram. I would love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!